During the spring and autumn period, 770 to 476 BC, in Chinese history, King Gong of Chu Kingdom went out hunting and lost a fine bow. His attendants wanted to search, but King Gong considered it unnecessary, saying surely a Chu person would find it since it was lost in Chu territory. Upon hearing this, Confucius said that it was a pity that King Gong was narrow-minded. Why should it be someone from Chu? When reading this story, the 17th century French Orientalist François Bernier was deeply moved by Confucius's humanistic spirit. He later included it in his translated work, named Confucius, or the Science of the Princes, the first comprehensive introduction in French to Confucius's words and Confucianism in Europe. On the evening of March 24, 2019, at the Villa Kerylos in Nice, France, Chinese President Xi Jinping received this book as a state gift from his French counterpart, Emmanuel Macron, and perused it. As the book with a gilded spine unfolded, tales of Sino-European exchanges sparkled across the pages. In the 17th century, Europe witnessed a growing wave of fascination with China. People collected and used Chinese porcelain, drank Chinese tea, and watched dramas on themes related to China. From kings to nobles and to commoners, all were curious and fond of the mysterious, affluent and elegant country in the East. Beyond theology, what else can be relied on to guide personal conduct and state governance? Many French and European philosophers looked eastward to China.
Ce doute cartésien va créer à l'époque en France un sentiment de très forte insécurité et de relativisme, de scepticisme, en disant que c'est impossible de fonder la morale, que la morale aujourd'hui est devenue impossible.
Against this backdrop, a wave of new books emerged, exemplified by the Latin work Confucius Sinorum Philosophus, systematically introducing Chinese thoughts and culture to Europe. Renowned French sinologist René Etiemble noted in his book Chinese Europe that around 1700, anyone engaged in philosophical thought in Europe inevitably had to consider China and contemplate its ideas. Having spent over a decade in the East, Bernier also felt this trend.
Il est vraiment très enthousiasmé par cette nouvelle philosophie de Confucius, parce qu'il voit dans cette morale, la morale de Confucius, une morale pratique.
In the preface of Confucius, or the Science of the Princes, Bernier described the book as the key or introduction to reading Confucius. He hoped this book would serve as a mirror for French monarchs, helping them build state governance on the basis of morality and rationality.
它主要翻译的是三书《大学》《中庸》和《论语》。《中庸》里面有一句他说叫“故为政在人，取人以身，修身以道，修道以仁”。那这个里面，贝尼耶的理解就是尊主，你的治国要看重你所选取的这个治国的人，但是也要看你自身的这个修为，你自身的修养，你自身的这个榜样的作用。
C'est en fait donc la recherche donc du bonheur des peuples à travers donc la figure du souverain et à travers les vertus morales. Il lit dans les textes de Confucius quelque chose de très pratique, comme une politique qui n'est pas fondée donc, sur la religion, mais qui est fondée sur la politique, sur une sorte de rationalité très moderne.
While discussions on China were heating up in Europe, Bernier passed away before the publication of the book. However, his manuscript was preserved intact, becoming a precious testament to Sino-European exchanges. In March 2014, at a meeting commemorating the 50th anniversary of China-France diplomatic relations, President Xi said that renowned French thinkers contributed enormously to the intellectual advancement of mankind. In March 2019, at the Villa Kerylos, President Macron told President Xi that French thinkers such as Voltaire were deeply influenced by Confucian thought. Voltaire recorded under the entry on China in his book Philosophical Dictionary that Confucius interprets solely through beneficial reason, enlightening minds without dazzling the world. Montesquieu pointed out in The Spirit of Law that Confucian thought advocated governing a country with rights, stating that it was in the exact observation of these rights that the Chinese government triumphed. In his work, The Old Regime and the Revolution, Tocqueville described the enthusiasm of some French thinkers for China. Learning that all official positions were obtained through imperial examinations, only philosophy was regarded as a religion, and literati were revered as aristocrats in China. They were amazed and fascinated. Great civilizations have always been inclusive and receptive to diverse cultures and ideas, never ceasing their exchanges with and learning from the outside world. This was true for China and Europe over 3 centuries ago. Knowledge of astronomy, calendars, geography, geometry, and more from Europe entered China, broadening the intellectual horizons of the Chinese people. Meanwhile, China's achievements in philosophy, literature, mathematics, medicine, and architecture also reached Europe. This exchange left genuine impressions on both ends of the Eurasian continent, and wrote down a history of equal communication, mutual learning, and development among different civilizations. When visiting the headquarters of UNESCO in Paris, France, in March 2014, President Xi said that civilizations have come in different colors and are equal and inclusive. In March 2023, he proposed the Global Civilization Initiative, advocating for the inclusive coexistence and mutual learning of different civilizations and calling for joint efforts to advance the progress of human civilizations.
这个思想来源于孔子的和而不同，同时也来源于中国几千年的文明互鉴史，它具有世界性的意义，它把中华文明的历史性经验提高到一个世界观的角度。
Civilisations peuvent parfaitement vivre côte à côte, les unes à côté des autres, c'est-à-dire en acceptant les logiques sur lesquelles elles vivent, elles prospèrent, et elles ont écrit leur propre histoire.
2024 marks the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between China and France. Their frequent bilateral cultural exchanges also invigorate Sino-European civilizational exchanges. With the release of the French and Chinese versions of Confucius or the Science of the Princes, more people have the opportunity to read this book. Over 300 years later, Bernier's wish is being realized in a way beyond his imagination.
Donc c'est à ce niveau de profondeur, finalement, qu'on va pouvoir nourrir une compréhension profonde. Et je pense que c'est cela qui donne une profondeur et une particularité à la relation France-Chine. C'est qu'il y a une sorte d'amitié profonde, de respect mutuel entre la France et la Chine.